All right. So next is kind of the opposite, which is you're just not doing enough. So this is, I would say, this is somewhat less common, but still kind of common. Your workout should provide some sort of struggle. Now, I don't mean you need to be like, gasping for air or, oh my God, I can't move, or this feels like war. But if there's zero stress on the body has no need to adapt and get stronger and become more fit. Remember, changes in the body, those kinds of positive changes, require energy and resources. And they also require energy and resources to maintain. And your body is always trying to be as efficient as possible. It's not going to want to be any more fit or stronger or faster or burn any more calories than it has to. That's an adaptation. I mean, that's an evolutionary adaptation response. It just doesn't make any sense. So to give you an example, an extreme example, if you sat in a chair for 5 years and never got up for whatever reason, let's say you were part of an experiment and you did that, your leg muscles would atrophy completely, and the neural connection to those muscles would atrophy to the point where you'd have to relearn how to walk. In fact, this happens to people when they're in accidents and they're in a hospital bed for weeks and they come out. It's like your body will prune away what it doesn't need, and to give you more than it needs, it just doesn't happen. So you have to do the right amount, and not doing enough means nothing happens. Your body has no need.
Well, and you could, again, kind of compare this to like your beginner or somebody that's been doing it forever. So your beginner is kind of obvious. It's like, they're not really, trying to push themselves yet. They haven't really realized how to kind of get into that discipline yet. Whereas, if you go on the more experienced lifter side, it's like, if you can get to a position, where, God, I had this thought and then I totally lost it.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're an experienced lifter, you can do the same workout and never challenge your body in new ways. And you see this with,
I got it.
Maybe not fitness fanatics, but I would see this with members where they would come in the gym and they would do the same machine, same weight, same everything all the time.
Yes, that's exactly right. And it's too, I see this with like not pushing yourself in terms of the weight and getting into like the routine that you've established, and you're just kind of continuously doing this routine with the same type of weights and never really progressively overloading it from there.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys are mentioning now, you're kind of bleeding into the third point, which is the workout getting stale, or what I would say is like the common thing that happens with these clients that they would hire me. They come in and I would assess what they're doing, and they're always these clients. They know they have a weight for their exercise.
Yes.
Like, oh, I do bicep curls with 5s, and then I do chest flies with the 15s,
It's
and then
such
I
a
go
red
do
flag, right?
I do the seated row over there with 70 pounds, and then I do this on number 5. Like, they have their routine down so well that they can name me the exercise and the weight that they use for all the exercises. And then I'm like, well, how long have you been doing that for? And like, oh, I've been consistently doing that for years. That's my routine, and I feel great when I do it. It's like, yeah, but your body has adapted to that so much that it doesn't perceive that as a stress anymore. It's like, this is part of your routine. Therefore, we are not challenging the body enough for it to overcome, recover, adapt, and grow. And so that's where I see someone like this. And bouncing back, since we kind of jump between these two and the second and third point, I would say the people that undertrain is probably one of the least common things out of everything that I see on here. I actually think that undertraining is the only real example that I recall seeing it a lot is in this example of my client who's been following the workout tape. This was more
same exact.
Yeah, this was more common like when I first started, right in the like late 90s, early 2000s, when still workout cassettes and stuff like that were still popular, and they've been following that routine for 10 years. That's more common. It's when you get somebody who's brand new, it's actually more common that they do more than they need to because they're motivated. And they want to change so bad, or their doctor told them you got to do this stuff, and so they go in with this attitude of more is going to get me more results. And so I actually find that side more common than somebody actually undertraining.
Too, is less detrimental to have that mentality coming in and do less versus do more, right? In terms of like how you're going to respond and how you can kind of build from there. Like it's definitely one of those, you're setting yourself up a little better if you do a little less, which is like contrary to what's been marketed.
Well, this is why I wanted Sal to bring up what the research says as far as optimal amount of sets. And so my advice to somebody is to count how many total sets that you're doing in the week for that muscle group, right? So, if I look and, so if I do 3 full body workouts at the end of the week, I'm doing 12 sets for chest. I'm always going to, and Sal mentioned already, 8 to 20 is kind of the range. I'm always going to push my people to actually lean on the lesser end, right? So the goal, you hear me say it all the time on the show, is to do as little as possible to elicit the most amount of change, so I have room to add those sets later on. If you start right out the gates and you're doing 20 sets for a muscle group in a week, you're already at the peak of what they would consider optimal with all the research. And so I don't have a lot of room to scale you up. I'd much rather put you at 8 sets for the week, and then we go for a while till the body adapts, and then you're not seeing results. And around, okay, let's bump it up to 10 sets now, and then let's bump it up to 12. I have a lot of room to
In my
grow.
experience, the don't do enough crowd, it's the not enough intensity is usually what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not pushing.
This is the one who is curling or doing an exercise, and they go, "Oh, it burns," and then they drop the weight.
or nothing. They're just doing it, and they're talking to their friend, or they're looking next door, and it's literally like a social.
I did
thing.
it though. It's,
Which I guess is better than nothing, but
or classes. You see that in classes,
Yeah.
they do
exactly
a class.
But it's not
that's-
going to work anymore. That's the point.